It can be really difficult if you're in a big group of friends or you work with a big, especially a big group of women in an office as I did, that it feels like everybody around you is pregnant and I think you or has children. And I think you become much more aware of it when you're trying yourself and you're going through treatment. And it can be difficult if all your social circle have started having children because the things they do change. They maybe don't go out as much in an evening, which was when you would spend time with them. And then maybe start doing things. There's more baby showers, there's more children's parties, there's more play dates, things where you maybe feel you might get excluded from. Friends may not invite you because they don't want to upset you. And you may not want to go along because you don't want to feel triggered. So it can be very difficult, and you become very aware of the fact that people around you have children. So maybe confide in a close friend about how you're feeling and say it's very difficult. You don't want to be excluded from plans, but that sometimes you may find it difficult. But you'd still like to be invited if that's the case. Or maybe just say you do things where you have a baby free catch up. So ask your friends if you can meet up, maybe go for coffees or drinks where they don't have the children with them so that you can spend time with them as a group of friends and you haven't got the triggers of them being there with their children. So maybe have a think about how you can do things differently with them. If you feel comfortable telling them what you're going through, then that can be easier because you can explain why it's hard for you, and I'm sure they'll understand. But look at how you can do things differently with them and spend time with them so that it's away from the children, it's less triggering. Or maybe have a think about your social circle if there's anybody that doesn't have children or that doesn't want children or who has older children that you could spend more time with. So arrange to do more things with them. So maybe replace some of the things you used to do with one group of friends with another. So somebody you go to the gym with, somebody you're in a do a hobby with, or somebody you work with. Have a think about the different social circles you've got and who else you could spend time with so that you're not constantly around those reminders. Avoid social situations that are hard for you. So one thing that always comes up is baby showers. They're really difficult when you're trying to conceive, and I had to go to a few, and they're really hard. Friends who understand what you're going through will be understanding that it may be difficult for you. So if you don't feel that you can cope with going, maybe make excuses about why you can't, and don't feel guilty about doing that. It's important to protect your emotional well-being. And if you've said yes and it gets to the day and you just don't feel up to it, you could always say that you're not feeling well and that's the reason for not going. If it's a close friend, they would hopefully understand why you don't want to go or why it'd be difficult. Maybe you could suggest doing something separately with them where you celebrate with them separately. So there isn't the big group focus on babies and all everything that goes on in baby showers. Celebrate with them separately. Things like family parties can be quite difficult if there's lots of children and if there's lots of family members asking questions about when you're going to start having a family. So again, it's okay to miss those things if you don't feel that you are up to it on a certain day. Just make your excuses, and if you don't feel people would understand, make up an excuse about why you can't go. They won't necessarily know, and don't feel guilty about that. If there's like a bigger event like a wedding that maybe is more difficult to avoid, maybe you could go to the important parts of it and then excuse yourself from the other bits if you feel that it's going to be too difficult. So think about how you could do that. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. It's really normal to feel like this. So many people in my support group talk about this, and it's really normal to feel like that. So don't feel guilty that you're not happy for your friends or that you find it hard being around friends who have children. It's normal. Try and do what you can to create situations that are less triggering for you, and understand that it's all right, and maybe find something like a support group where people will fully understand and not judge you for some of those thoughts as well.